And he'll say, after Pesach, he'll tell people, oh, I didn't realize, I overlooked that I had chametz in my possession. And in truth, if a person had chametz in his possession during Pesach, even though the Torah does not allow it, but if it wasn't his fault, it was an accident, he overlooked it, he doesn't actually transgress. It's called the aynus. It's against his will. He checked and he didn't realize. Well, a concern, the person might intentionally keep chametz in his possession during Pesach, and after chametz will say, "Oh, and then and then we'll sell it, we'll do business with it, sell it to people." So the Chacham said, our sage said, if you have chametz in your possession during Pesach, you cannot benefit from it after Pesach, even if it was an accident, even though it wasn't your intent, and wasn't my fault. It was in your possession during Pesach. You cannot benefit from it after Pesach. You cannot benefit, and no Jew could benefit from this chametz after Pesach. It has to be burnt. Which leads us to a problem that we have these days, and that is that when you're going shopping, you're going to different stores, then if it's owned by a Jew, did they sell their chametz? They didn't sell the chametz. It was owned by a Jew during Pesach. Now, you would think that, okay, so you'll find, so I have information that could give you practically one of the names of stores. We go through that at the end of the class. But first, let's understand the halachas. So now, okay, so we find that it's owned by a Jew. If it's owned by a non-Jew, then it's fine, right? No, it's also not fine. Because now it could still be a problem. Because where do they buy the chametz from? That was called distributors. Now, distributors that hold on to all the factories holding on to so much, they don't have a place to store it. So there's distributors, they buy a bunch of stuff from factories, and they sell it to the stores. So it could be a non-Jewish store, but if he's buying it after Pesach from a distributor, a Jewish distributor that did not sell the chametz, it's the same problem. So it's not like, oh, I know the owner of is not Jewish. I have to know who the distributor is. Now, even if it's owned by, even if the Jew sold the chametz, you find out that he sold the chametz. Okay, he sold the chametz, everything is good. Not necessarily, because they're not religious, they could be selling the chametz for Pesach, and then they are, even though they sold their chametz, but they're selling it, they're still doing business with it. Whatever chametz they sold, they're selling to other people. Now, does that create an issue? Does that tell us, oh, okay, now the sale is invalid because they sold the chametz before Pesach, they sold it out, right? But where is it? It's in the store, basically. They sold it. And if they're still selling it on Pesach, does that invalidate the sale? Not necessarily, according to many opinions. The Rebbe also brings from the Alter Rebbe that doesn't seem to invalidate the sale. The sale is still a sale. But you bought it you sold it to the non-Jew, and you're making a joke out of the sale. You sold it to him, and then you're selling it to other people. It doesn't invalidate the sale, according to many opinions, and also according to the Alter Rebbe, it does not invalidate the sale. Now, he's stealing from the non-Jew. Okay. That's not proper, but it doesn't, the sale is still a valid sale. But there could be another problem. The other problem is if this person is not serious about the sale, he sold it. And now let's say he's using it. That could also mean that he's buying chametz on Pesach too. Like business as usual. Someone convinced him to sell, he sold his chametz, but he's still buying chametz. The chametz that he buys on Pesach is not included in the sale, because he can't sell something that is not existent. Existent meaning you don't own it yet. You can't sell it. So any chametz that he buys on Pesach, this Jew that sold his chametz, now he's buying more chametz on Pesach. That's not included in the sale. So it comes after Pesach. You go to him. He sold his chametz. Yeah. But if you also bought chametz on Pesach, the chametz that he bought on Pesach is not in the sale. Right? You get it? The chametz He sold his chametz before Pesach. Chametz is sold. Now he bought more chametz. He sold his chametz to the non-Jew. That chametz is sold. So he has chametz in the store that he sold. But let's say on Pesach he's buying chametz. He's still buying chametz because he's not religious. So he's buying more chametz, getting more inventory. That chametz that he bought on Pesach is not in the sale. But maybe what if he stipulated when he sold it to the non-Jew that any chametz that I buy should be in the sale? You can't sell something that's not existent. I mean, existent in that you own it. It's not yours yet. Even though when in the document of sale to the non-Jew, it's written even chametz is going to come later because we put in a lot of information, a lot of stipulations that may work. Anyways, practically, it doesn't. Essentially, it doesn't work. Meaning, you cannot sell something that's not existent. Okay, so can I simplify things? Too much. You cannot. The Jew sells his chametz before Pesach, and then he buys more chametz on Pesach. That chametz is not in the sale. So after Pesach, that chametz that he bought on Pesach was owned by a Jew. You can't use that chametz. Can't buy the chametz. Can't benefit from it. And let's say by mistake you did buy chametz that was owned by a Jew, and you're not allowed to benefit from it, and you cook with it, your keilim become treif.
But how do you know all of this?
But okay, so I'm first giving you the halachas, to just understand the basic halachas. We'll get to the practical parts soon. We understand the halachas. What happens, these stories sometimes happen that people go after Pesach and we forget. They don't realize kosher food, but it was owned by a Jew, it's actually not kosher. It's not like you're not allowed to benefit from it. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay, I cooked the food, I'll throw out the food. If you're not allowed to eat the food, so the keilim become not kosher. So the keilim become not kosher, though the food is kosher food, but if you're not allowed to eat it because it was owned by a Jew during Pesach, so it's not kosher. Not like, well, the food is kosher. No, it's a package deal. If you can't eat it, so the food is actually not kosher. And the keilim that you cook in it become treif. You have to kasher the keilim. Like you cooked pork in it. Well, not exactly, because pork is minatayra and this is rabbinic. Fine, it's a different. But I mean, it's the same idea that it's not kosher. It's rabbinically prohibited. Fine, not the same, but you have to kasher the keilim. So it's something you have to be very aware of after Pesach. Before you go shopping, be very aware. Don't just go shopping in the stores you go all year round. They sell kosher food. You have to find out which store I could shop, which store I can't. But
If you stole them from.
we're saying even if the Jewish person who owns the store sold his chametz, but if he's not religious, so it's not a green light. It's not like, oh, he sold his chametz. Well, you got to know, what is this Jew doing during Pesach? Is it buying more chametz into the store during Pesach? There's things you have to find out. Again, practically, I don't mean you. I'm saying, so I'm going to give you, there are, like any product that you buy needs a hechsher. So there are rabbanim who check everything out and they give us information. But we're saying, we're explaining what the halach is. We have to know that these Jewish people were not buying chametz during Pesach, because otherwise, comes after Pesach, the chametz you're buying, they bought during Pesach. No, so kinyas, right? So all the kinyas that you can't eat on Pesach, like rice, millet, beans, quinoa, some even peanuts, all these kinyas, there's corn, buckwheat, all these things are kitnius. You cannot eat it on Pesach. But it's not chametz. You can have it in your possession during Pesach. It doesn't have to be sold. So that's not an issue. Understood so far? Okay. So now you want to know practically. So what do we do after Pesach? So now there's another thing, something else that's interesting over here, and that is you have sometimes people you have people who buy shares, like they buy shares in a company. There's companies, food companies that buy a share, people invest, and the Jewish people buy shares, non-Jews buy shares. So now, who is this company owned by? Jews and non-Jews, both together. So who do you go according to? So some opinions say go according to the majority. Majority of the company is owned by non-Jews, let's say. It seems that's what it is. A lot of these companies, majority is owned by non-Jews. So some opinions say it's owned by non-Jews. Majority is by non-Jews. We go by the majority. So therefore, it's not considered Jewishly owned. But some say no. There are Jewish people who have shares in this company. So therefore, it is an issue. So what's the right thing to do is, and what many companies do is, they sell their shares to the non-Jews. So the Jewish people have shares. So you get those Jews who have shares and they sell their shares. They're not selling chametz over here. It's owned by both. Business as usual. You can't stop. But they sell their shares to the non-Jews. So now what they're accomplishing is now the company is owned only by non-Jews. So instead of selling the chametz, because they have shares, they don't have control they have shares. So they sell their shares to the non-Jews. And now it's only owned by non-Jews during Pesach. So this solves the issue. So right over here, there's a distributor called Wakefern. So some are Jewish, so they sell, the Jews sell their shares to the non-Jews. Okay. Now, many times you buy online. You go to Amazon, right? Target, Walmart, you're buying stuff online. When you're buying stuff online, you have to be careful. Here's something interesting. I mentioned Walmart. So Walmart is actually a store that it's owned by non-Jews. And they don't have, so it's confirmed that if you can go to Walmart after Pesach, it's owned by non-Jews, and they don't have a Jewish distributor. However, if you go online and you go to walmart.com, because it's online, that's an issue. Why? Because sometimes the distributor could be Jewish. So it's not like, oh, Walmart is okay, go to the store. But if you're buying online, it works different. The online business doesn't come from the same place. They could be getting it from different distributors. So let's say if you go to the right of it, Amazon, Sam's Club, Target.com, Walmart.com, but many times the distributor are Jewish. So you can't go online and and do orders after Pesach from these places.
Is it Amazon too?
Yeah. They say it could many times distribute, not necessarily. Sometimes the name of the supplier will be on the website. Sometimes, if you look at, I've never done this, but if you look on the website, sometimes they'll tell you the name. We're saying it could be. We're not saying for sure. In other words, if you're going on Amazon, it's possible the distributor is Jewish. If it says over there the name of the supplier, then you get information, and then either if you know yourself, this name, it's not a Jewish name, or you ask someone, then you have to find out, is the supplier Jewish or not? So you have to do your research. But the stores that are 100% good, they bring a whole list of stores. I'll bring just those are relevant there. Yeah, BJ's Wholesale Club is fine. Costco is fine. Sam's Club, reading those that I hear about it. Starbucks, there's Target depends. Target, you have to know which location. Target depends on the location, so it's not so simple. Trader Joe's is good. Walgreens, Walmart, Rite Aid. These are all names that are good. Dollar General, Dwayne Reed, BJ's, we said Costco, we said radio cases. These are all 100%. Target, we said, is a problem. Target, you have to find out. Depends on the location. Some are good, some are not good. So you have to check with those who have the information. Yeah.
Let's say you're traveling, you're on trips that need to stop to get like food, snack, water, whatever.
So give you the information.
But
Yeah.
like, it's hard to check that stuff. It practically.
We have to, well, if it's not chametz, you can buy it. It's only chametz.
Okay, so like if you're getting like a water bottle.
Yeah, we're talking about chametz. Chametz, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
I don't really understand. Why would someone go during Pesach and buy chametz?
There's Jews that are not religious. And they're being encouraged, convinced by the rabbi to sell the chametz. And they do it. And they do it for business, they sell it. Now, there's actually a discussion. Is that a real sale? They don't really care. And the halacha, it is a sale. Even though they don't really care about it, they just don't care because a Jewish person, even though he's not interested, but if it's something that he can do good without losing anything, he's happy to do it. He's not like, oh, you have sometimes, it's rare, you have sometimes a Jew who just, they'll specifically go, Hashem wants this, they go exactly the opposite just to get Hashem, just to get Hashem angry, so to say, you have such, but generally, Jewish people, they have the need, so they don't care, but if they can do something with, and it's not going to hurt them, why not? So we accept the fact that if they did the sale, it's a good sale. On the other hand, they're not religious, so there's a concern. They sold the chametz, yeah, they sold the chametz. But now, if they're not being told or if they don't care, comes Pesach, and they always have orders coming in, so business as usual. Every week they have an order that comes in, they get a delivery from chametz, so it's possible that they bought chametz on Pesach. Yes, they sold their chametz, but they also bought chametz on Pesach. Right? So there's that concerns. That's why you can't just, I heard they sold this chametz. You need a Rav, competent rabbinical authority that checked out the place and knows that this place sold the chametz and they're not taking in any chametz on Pesach. There are Rabbanim who know about that, who have information. What's going on?
Store?
What?
Like the store sold their chametz?
The stores?
So,
Right. So a religious store?
no, like these stores. Like what do you need to make sure
The,
that they
the,
know their
the,
chametz?
the
or-
names I gave you here just now, these are owned by non-Jews. These are all non-Jewish stores, Trader Joe's, Walmart, Walgreens, they're all not Jewish. So that's why there's no problem. And we have the information that we know that they don't use a Jewish distributor. So that's why I'm saying from these stores, you could buy 100%. Okay?
You can buy chametz on Pesach in these stores?
They could buy,
Really getting.
what? Buy chametz after Pesach.
Also, why? Because
You buy chametz after Pesach, you have to make sure it's not coming from a Jewish-owned store that did not sell the chametz. So the stores I'm telling you here are all stores that are owned by non-Jews. And they don't have a Jewish distributor. So you know it's 100%. Yeah, makes sense?
yeah, kind of.
Buying
yeah.
after Pesach, yeah. Then there are stores that are not Jewish, but they may use a Jewish distributor. Some of them sell before Pesach, but they still work on Pesach. There's other stores like these are not food emporium, food supermarket. These are not stores, Stop and Shop, whatever. I mean, we don't really need to go through this. We just need to. We already told you which stores you should buy, which stores I mentioned before. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Okay, I think this pretty much clarifies it. Unless there's questions, we could discuss something else. Now, something else interesting is that, so you can't buy from these stores after Pesach. Till when? Right, we have to discuss this. Till when? So you have different opinions about this. Generally, it's accepted till Shavuos. By Shavuos, you could, it's not because Shavuos Pesach, usually it's about a month until you could expect that there's a turnover. There are those that are lenient that say that if you could assume that it's 50-50 in the store, so in other words, there's new stuff coming in, but they still have old stuff from before, so it's 50-50, so you could say there's a doubt. Generally, there's a rule when there's a doubt that something that's rabbinic, you can't be lenient. It's a general rule. Never there's a doubt that something that's minat Torah, you have to be strict. If you have a doubt that something that's rabbinic, you can be lenient. That's a general rule. Now, how to apply it? Do you apply it in this case? There's controversy. Some say that if after Pesach, let's say, you don't know for sure, you assume most probably there's still some chametz left that they didn't sell the chametz or they bought on Pesach. There's still some chametz left. Yeah, but there's also new chametz they bought after Pesach. You have a mixture of both. You have kosher chametz and non-kosher chametz. So you have both. So some opinions say if you could assume that it's 50-50, you can't be lenient. There are some opinions that are like that. But without confusing it, to make it simple, generally we wait till about, if all these stores that I'm saying that are problematic, in other words, you're being careful after Pesach only to buy from certain stores and not from other stores, how long does that continue for? Till about Shavuos. That's what it said, and they could assume that by then it's already, things are, it's already, there's been a turnover. Okay, clear? Okay, so let's, any questions about this? So let's discuss a little bit about the halachas of, yeah.
So you should only be checking this and paying attention to this until Shavuot.
Right, so whatever we discuss, saying only buy from these stores, we're talking about, it's still about Shavuos. I know it's approximately, that's the amount of time that Rabbanim give. We could assume by that time, you can already go to other stores also. Now, we're giving you a list of stores. Obviously, it's in religious stores in Crown Heights. You could assume they sell the chametz. I mean, some communities they want that they should have a official certificate in the store. They sold this chametz, but generally, from communities they sell their chametz. But they're talking about you're going to out there, so you have to follow only buy from these stores. You just walk in and buy chametz. Okay, so let's discuss some halachas of Sefiras Haomer. So just to review some of the halachas, and that is until you count the Omer, you should not be doing the accepted practices. You don't do any malacha. Any malacha that you don't do on Rosh Chodesh that you're familiar with, like sewing, weaving, right? Rosh Chodesh, you don't do that. Washing laundry. You should not be doing until you count Omer. Until from when? From when the sun sets. From when the sun sets, which these days it's about 7:30 about. Yeah, about 7:30. Until you count Omer, you should not be doing any washing laundry, no weaving, okay, in case you're doing weaving. No sewing until you count Omer. Now, if someone asked me a question the other day, what happens if they count the wrong day? They counted the wrong day and they didn't realize until the following night. If you're miscounting So then, whatever you miscounting the whole 24-hour period, then the following night you count without a bracha. So here they did count that night. They didn't miscount it. They just counted the wrong number. If they counted the wrong number, and they missed the whole 24-hour period, and then they realized they didn't count. They count last night, but they count the wrong number. So the question is, what happens now? You count without a bracha or with a bracha?
Without.
Hmm?
Without.
Without a bracha? Correct. But you counted last night.
You didn't count the day.
You counted, just you counted the wrong one.
You need to count all of them, no? To do the mitzvah.
Okay, correct. You're saying it in different words. I'm saying it's correct. In other words, if you count the wrong number, you didn't count, right? It's not called counting. You didn't count the right number. That's it. So you cannot count with a bracha anymore. Now, of course, you should make sure to hear a bracha. That's the proper thing. Because you want to do a mitzvah with a bracha. You say a mitzvah with a bracha before it. You cannot say a bracha because it's questionable if there's a mitzvah or not. But the proper thing is, when you do a mitzvah, to say it with a bracha. But you can't say a bracha because it's questionable. When in doubt, you don't say a bracha, right? But the right thing is to say a bracha before you do a mitzvah. But you can't. You can't. So, if you hear a bracha from someone else, it's like you're saying it, but at the same time that it's like you're saying it, you don't have the issue where you may be saying Hashem's name in vain. So you have the advantage, because hearing a bracha is like saying the bracha. That's why we're saying you should try to hear a bracha from someone else. It's like this, you're doing a mitzvah with saying a bracha beforehand. Many people are under the impression that it's all about the bracha. Did you count with a bracha, without a bracha? It's like if they miss a night, they count the following day without a bracha, right? Then the following nights they could continue with the bracha, right? Familiar with that? Again, if you miss one night, the following day count without a bracha, then continue with the bracha, right? The following day you did not count, you missed the whole 24-hour period, then for now you count without a bracha. A lot of people, the focus is they're thinking it's all about the bracha. Okay, now they can't count with a bracha, so it's with a bracha, without a bracha. Yes, that's what it's, but that's not the main issue. The main issue is, the real problem over here is when you're counting without a bracha, what you're lacking over here is not just about the bracha. What you're lacking is that it's possible you're not doing the mitzvah anymore. That's what the issue is. That's what you're losing over here. It's not about the bracha, because you can hear bracha. What you're losing over here is that it could be there's no mitzvah. Because some opinions say that the counting of the Haomer, it's all one big mitzvah. And if you miss one day, there's no mitzvah anymore. So that's why it's important about making up to be able to continue counting with a bracha. It's not about so you could count and say, oh, bracha, so you could do the mitzvah properly. Because when you're saying without a bracha, the reason why you're saying without a bracha is because could be there's no mitzvah, could be you're not doing the mitzvah. So that's what it's about. Now, what happens if it comes the night of Sefiras Haomer, it comes tonight, let's say, and you say to yourself, I don't remember if I counted last night. I don't remember. Maybe I counted, maybe I didn't count. So what happens now? Do you count with a bracha or without a bracha? You count with a bracha, right? You count with a bracha. So if you're not sure if you counted last night, maybe you counted it. I don't know. Maybe I did. I'll try the next night. I'm not sure if I counted last night. You could continue counting with a bracha. You remember what the reason is? We spoke about a sveka. It's called the double doubt. There's a double doubt. Now, double doubt sounds like it's even more in doubt. For sure, you don't say bracha. When we say double doubt, we mean double doubt in the direction of saying that there's a doubt means you have a doubt, you say bracha. When we say we're using double doubt, we mean double doubt in the direction of saying a bracha, right? Even a regular doubt. What's a regular doubt mean? Regular doubt is maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. Double doubt means that it's double in the direction of maybe you should. Meaning, one doubt could be, even if you miss a 24-hour period, you still have to say a bracha. Because it could be every day is a separate mitzvah. The other doubt is the regular doubt. Maybe you count it. Get it? In other words, one doubt is maybe you counted. Maybe you didn't. Even if you didn't count, but there's an opinion that says every night is a separate mitzvah. So even if you're going to say, oh, maybe you didn't, maybe you didn't count. Oh, so you shouldn't, there's no mitzvah. Yeah, but one opinion says that every day is a separate mitzvah. So there's another doubt in the direction of that even if you didn't count, but it still could be, there is still a mitzvah because every day is a separate mitzvah. So that's called a double doubt, but a double doubt in the direction of pointing to maybe there isn't there's still an obligation. So that's why in such a case you could say a bracha. It's not. You don't have it so. It's not common. I've only seen it by Sefiras Haomer, this idea of svek in a bracha. Usually a suffix brachis l'hakum. When you doubt a bracha, you lenient. Here, because it's a sveka, a double doubt, but in the direction of that you are obligated, perhaps you are, double. So here, you will continue counting with a bracha. And also, it could happen sometimes that you will only realize that you did not count, and it's already shkia, already the sunset. So over here, there's actually different opinions on what to do, but it's accepted that you could continue counting with the bracha. So what I just said now in simple words is that let's say you don't realize, if you realize during the day you count without a bracha and then you continue afterwards. You didn't realize until the sun set, and then you counted. Now, could we still day? It's accepted that you could. There are those that say you cannot count with a bracha anymore, but it's accepted that you could continue counting with a bracha.
If you remember,
because there's still a double doubt.
during Shkia?
Right, you remember after the sun sets.
What's the time? Like,
so these days, let's say Shkia is about 7:30, yeah?
Yeah.
She's about let's say 7:30, right? So you want to how long, right? Very good, practical. I would say about 25 minutes. You are. We have it over here. So here you have. Pro. So these days, we have here. Over here. Which? What's today? April 13, right?
Yes.
Right, so Shkia is 7:33. Today Shkia is 7:33, and the stars come out 8:01.
oh, so
Right,
until
it's
the
about
stars come out.
25. Yeah, it's 27 minutes, 28. Yeah, 28 minutes. Yeah, so it's still 8:01. Yes, you have to know when the stars come out. It's about 28 minutes. Yeah, so any time during that time, you remember, you count, and you can continue counting with a bracha.
So you count without a bracha.
Yeah, for sure.
Then, and then after that.
Yeah,
count.
for sure. Now you're making up for last night, count without a bracha.
Right.
But then the following night, when it comes dark, you could continue counting with a bracha. But I'm saying over here, there are opinions that say that you cannot continue counting with a bracha.
Okay.
But many Rabbanim, it's accepted that you could continue counting with a bracha. Okay, any other questions? Okay, stop here. Did everyone?
Thank you.
Would you explain the store? Again, I don't.
The store?
One.
Yeah,
I don't really understand.
you're not getting it? It's too confusing. Okay, I'll simplify it. So after Pesach, you're going shopping, and you have stores you always shop. Let's say. Now you're going. What are you going? What are you going to buy? You're going to buy chametz, right? So if you're buying chametz, if the chametz that's owned by a Jew during Pesach, you cannot benefit from it after Pesach. So you can't just go into any random store and just buy chametz, because maybe it's owned by a Jew. Maybe it was owned by a Jew, even if it's a Goyish store, but maybe they bought the chametz after Pesach or during Pesach from a Jewish distributor. So it was owned by a Jew during Pesach. It could be, you don't know.
Okay.
So that's the whole problem over here.
There may be the store owner.
Maybe the store owner is Jewish. And if he's Jewish and he didn't sell his chametz, so he owns chametz during Pesach, you're buying chametz from him. Now we're gonna say maybe now if you know he's not Jewish. Okay, let's say he's not Jewish. Now, where is he buying the chametz from? He's getting it from what's called a distributor. The person, huh?
Maybe he's Jewish with the own comments on his.
Right, maybe he bought it from someone who's Jewish, and that Jewish person owned it on Pesach, because maybe he bought it from him on Pesach. So the Jewish person owned it on Pesach. So now the non-Jew owns it, but maybe he got it from a Jewish person.
And these stores, okay, now.
You get it?
Yeah, and these stores that you said.
The stores that I mentioned is stores that are checked out by Rabbanim that we know are not, like I said, Trader Joe's, Walgreens, Walmart, bring the ones, there's a big list, bring the ones that I'm familiar with, Costco, BJ's, all these stores we know are not owned by Jews. And we also know that they don't use a Jewish distributor.
So it's fine to go and buy chametz.
Correct.
And it's only chametz, nothing else in the store.
Only chametz, right.
Okay.
So I'm saying if you have other stores that you usually buy and you don't buy it by those stores, then till when you have to wait? Till about Shavuos time. In other words, these stores are fine. Let's say it's other stores that you're not going to buy because it's questionable, because it's not on the list. So you refrain from buying from those places until about Shavuos time.
These stores, yeah, okay. These stores sell like plastic straw things or like, yes.
Good question. They may sell pas Yisrael. They may sell flour. Flowers, chametz. You're right. They may not have they may not have so much pas Yisrael stuff. Sometimes they do have pas Yisrael. There can be chametz that doesn't have to be pas Yisrael. Oatmeal.
Oh.
There's different products that not necessarily has to be pas Yisrael. And sometimes they do sell pas Yisrael. I mean, products that don't need to be pas Yisrael. We have a little bit of flour, whatever, that little flour, and it's not. When it comes to pas Yisrael, not everything has to be pas Yisrael or bishul Yisrael, depending on what it's to be. For example, comes to bishul Yisrael, things that aren't like a guy could cook water for you. Okay, water's not common. I'm just to give an example. Not everything. Sometimes you have a product that has a bit of flour there, but it's not considered an important product. It's not chashuv. It's not something that's considered that's served at the table of kings. So it doesn't need to be bishul Yisrael or pas Yisrael. So there could be a lot of products that are chametz that people buy in these places.
Mm-hmm. And when you said like Amazon and then we order things.
Right. So now when you're ordering things online, so that's why I said, even for example, Walgreens, you said Walgreens is fine. But if you're going online, I'm sorry, Walmart, Walgreens, sorry, Walmart. Walmart is also fine. You said Walmart is fine, but if you're going online, you're going, let's say, Amazon Sam's Club, Target.com, Walmart.com. Now you're ordering online. Over there, they may be getting it from a different distributor. Not sure why, it's all Walmart, but I understand these things. But that's the information they have here. And when you go online, they can be using distributors that are Jewish.
And maybe
So
they
now you have to check, if you're going online, you have to check. Many times they will give the name of the supplier. And if you see the name and you recognize, you feel you're comfortable that it's not a Jewish person, let's say, I mean, not always you know, but you could find out, whatever. It's already a different discussion. You have to know what you're doing. If you know that he's not Jewish, then it's fine.
So like toothpaste or like these things.
Toothpaste is not, no, toothpaste is not a problem. Toothpaste is not chametz. You don't have to worry about toothpaste.
Just like
yeah, toothpaste is not chametz. Toothpaste